Kenya, over 500,000 square kilometers of some of the most contrasting landscape in the world. The arid semi-desert interior of the north, the coastal belt with its dense bush alternating with forest and open glades to the east. An area noted for its wildlife and also for a world-famous motorsport event, the Safari Rally. And this year, the debut of a new rally car, the Nissan Sunny GTIR. Taking part in a competition that offers publicity and prestige, as well as pushing back the boundaries of technology and development within the motor industry. A sport for the specialist, with a result that benefits the everyday motorist. Nairobi, and the first look at the team which has chosen the toughest event to begin their World Championship Rally programme. The drivers, former world champion Stig Blomqvist, one of the most experienced men in the sport, and the top British driver, David Llewellyn. A tough event for the co-drivers as well, on a 6-day route with speeds reaching 200 kilometers an hour on rutted and potholed roads. So why have Nissan chosen this as the debut of the new car?
According to the FISA regulations, we have to produce 5,000. And 5,000 was just produced at the end of January. Therefore, we applied for FISA, for homologation. We have received the approval as of March the 1st. So this will be the shortest rally after homologation. So this is a very challenging, very demanding rally, but I think any rally is very demanding. And as you may know, Nissan has long association with Safari, and so we thought we should challenge this Safari rally.
And that association goes back over 20 years. It was a Nissan Cedric which became the first Japanese constructed car to finish the Safari. And in 1970, Herman began Nissan's domination of the event, culminating in Sheikh Ahmeta's legendary 4 successive wins. By 1987, Nissan announced that the company had embarked on a 5-year plan, which would come to eventual fruition with the new Nissan Sunny GTIR. Built and prepared in Japan, but run by Nissan Motorsports Europe, the car had its first major test here in Scotland in November 1990. Stig Blomqvist putting the 2-litre 4-wheel drive turbocharged Sunny GTR through its paces.
Okay, it looks small, and okay, it is quite small as well, but okay, when you sit inside the car and things, it feels quite good, and it feels good anyway, so it's quite handy around tight corners and things, so I think it's the right size for a car. It looks very promising so far, and okay, it's getting better and better every time we try. So.
Stig's considerable experience was put to good use, making the most of the testing and development and the vast amount of man-hours spent on the engine and transmission and all the elements required to make the car competition-ready. Joining Stig, David Llewellyn, British champion for the last 2 years, success in Europe and a proven ability as a test driver.
No, they had, they're not in pound, they have...
Llewellyn's arrival at Nissan for the 1991 season would complement the skills of Blomqvist and give them a driving combination of experience, success and flair.
It was all a little bit strange, you know, and it was a new car and I was a bit nervous, and of course it was left-hand drive and I just come out of a right-hand drive car competitively, and it was strange. I must admit it was strange, and I've settled in now and it really feels good, and I'm looking forward to getting out and actually, you know, being competitive in it.
From the relative ease of Scotland then, to Kenya, and weeks of gruelling tests, not only for the cars, but acclimatisation for the drivers as well, and a chance for the new team to prove that months of development and preparation would not be wasted. Here, detailed analysis of local conditions is used to set the cars up for the event. Route reconnaissance is made, pinpointing hazards and giving guidance on the vital question of tyre selection, all designed to give the drivers confidence and rhythm in their driving. No other driver is as experienced, though, as Mike Kirkland. From Nairobi, he's competed on the Safari no less than 18 times, in all but 2 driving a Nissan. Runner-up in 88 and 89, Mike takes his place in the third and last Works Nissan. His local knowledge invaluable to the team, in particular to Llewellyn on his first taste of the Safari Rally.
2 times with 30.
But no amount of briefing can prepare a driver for the grueling conditions to come that vary between dust and thick mud.
You can only sort of try and tell people all the things you've learned, but the actual feel of the car you can never describe to somebody. It's very difficult. He keeps asking, how fast do I drive on the rough? You can't really say. How can you say what speed you drive on the rough? It's just a matter of feel. But I've tried to impart to him everything that I know, and hopefully he'll learn as much as possible. From my point of view, I started working on this project about November, did some testing, and then all the results we got from that testing were analyzed, and we didn't do anything again. I started wrecking from then on, and I've sort of been testing and wrecking at the same time. Most of the development work has been done by Stig.
On behalf of Nissan, welcome to the Safari Rally 1991. Director of Rallying Operations from Nissan Motorsports Europe, Charles Reynolds.
I think Safari still remains in the World Championship the event that really stands out. It's totally different from everything else, and to tackle it now within a few months of the formation of the team really is quite a big task for everybody. Having said that, I believe we will go to the start as well prepared as any team here, and I think everybody has done a fantastic coordination job. We've got a very strong team. Our total headcount on the event will be 145 people. Will be 53 support vehicles of one form or another. There will be 2 helicopters in the team and full aircraft support aiding communications. Obviously with a 3-car team, communication is absolutely vital.
Charles Reynolds, Rally Director of Nissan Motorsports Europe, leads the vast team of personnel and equipment that all the major works teams in the World Championship have. Service helicopters, not allowed on other World Championship rallies, make servicing easier. Service vehicles carry a real arsenal of spares. And the specialist technical support from manufacturers such as Dunlop and Castrol directly involved with the running of the cars. The competition and the adventure is about to begin. 6 legs, 4,500 kilometres, roughly the distance from London to the Middle East, and 80 timed sections on open public roads. The first leg runs in the shadow of Kilimanjaro, Africa's highest mountain, to Mombasa on the east coast. But it's at Nairobi that the rally begins, the Safari, Swahili for Big Journey. Joining the Nissans, the international lineup included the Works Lanciers, who entered 3 new 16-valve Delta Integrales for Miki Biasion, Juha Kankkunen and Jorge Recalde. And Toyota, who entered 3 Celica Turbo 4-wheel drive cars, headed by the World Rally champion Carlos Sainz, already with wins in Monte Carlo and Portugal this year. Other entries from Subaru, Daihatsu, Mitsubishi, and a host of privateers, including Rudi Stoll in the Castrol-supported Audi 90 Quattro. In all, 57 entries for the toughest event in the rally calendar. Stig Blomqvist then leaving the ramp and heading for the opening Super Special at Ngong Racecourse. Heavy overnight rains had made the course greasy, yet it was still firm, unlike the previous year, which had been the muddiest on record. Recalde first on the road, but he would finish third after the first leg, after driving almost 11 miles on a wheel rim. Carlos Sainz, although giving second best to Biasion and Valdegaard on the Super Special, would storm through the first leg, taking an early lead. His only problem arising when he clipped Ricaldi in his eagerness to pass. Bjorn Valdegaard, probably the most experienced campaigner on the event with 4 previous wins, he was Sainz's nearest challenger, and Mikael Eriksson lost some 20 seconds on the leaders through here and would finally end the day in 6th. Blomqvist in the first of the Nissan Sunny GTIRs and an encouraging 7th quickest here on the Super Special for the new car, demonstrating its new Atesa 4-wheel drive transmission system, which adjusts for the best torque split between the front and rear axles for maximum traction. In normal driving, the split between the front and rear can be 37-63, or in muddy conditions, up to 50-50. But this is Kankkunen, 4th fastest and 4th overall by the end of the leg. A little wayward here, but his experience would count for a lot. And Biasion, Safari winner in 88 and 89, quickest on the Super Special, but he'd be down to 5th by the end of the day. Rudi Stoll, the privateer on a limited budget, ingeniously chose narrow snow tyres on the Super Special instead of the rather more expensive mud tyres. They served him well, 8th fastest, but mechanical failure on his Quattro would put him out of the rally. And Mike Kirkland in the second of the new Nissans, a cautious start for him. He remains outside the top 10. But it was Llewellyn and co-driver Peter Diekman who emerged the quickest of the Nissan trio, 6th fastest through the Super Special, which is designed to give spectators the ideal opportunity to see the cars. And Llewellyn was matching Eriksson's times by stage 8. The Nissan was functioning perfectly, and Llewellyn was driving steadily and sensibly. He lost a minute to the leaders in the Taitas, but that still left him in 7th place by stage 10.
130. Two right, 70 turn, 5 right, tight 4, and sheep, 30, 2 left, caution 100, narrows, 2 left, rough, over 200, twisty, right, square left, narrows.
Big crowds, many of whom walk for miles to get a view of the event. But Llewellyn's challenge, that will come to an end in the most bizarre and aggravating circumstances, colliding with another competitor on a road section. When one imagines the challenges of the event and the demands it makes, to go out in such a manner left Llewellyn understandably despondent.
We stopped at the junction and pulled out, and he was coming down very quickly, and we just had to come in together. We had overtaken 4 cars on the section before that, and you know, the car was running well. Peter and I were working well together, and it felt good. You know, we were only just discussing how good it was going and how well we felt together, and the car, and you know, we were very pleased to be first Nissan and sixth overall, with a long way to go and feeling confident. You know, we felt that we could have gotten our aim of being in the top 5, but it's always ifs and buts, isn't it?
The 2 remaining cars of Stig Blomqvist and Mike Kirkland both remained in touch with the top 10, but Blomqvist had a time-consuming oil leak early on from a damaged oil pan, and Kirkland had lost 40 minutes when a turbocharger blew, a component which had lasted nearly 13,000 kilometres in practice.
It was sort of going okay. First, sort of third section, we had a strut seized up. Cost us about 5-6 minutes. We still thought everything was looking good. And then we had a turbo go. Just going along the tarmac road, turbo blew. And it just happened to be at the worst possible moment. David's accident had just happened. Everybody was busy with trying to get people to hospital and gosh knows what. And we cost us 54 minutes. So anyway, that's the Safari. We'll have a go, see what we can make up now.
The Safari, unlike other rallies, is based upon time penalties. Drivers are given target times for covering sections between time controls, Those over the most difficult roads are set at very high average speeds, so penalties occur. Carlos Sainz leads with 14 minutes and 19 seconds in road penalties, and Blomqvist in 15th with 5 days still to go. But Llewellyn is out and counting the cost.
A little bit sore, neck's a little bit sore. Thankfully Peter's okay as well. I spoke to him this morning. He went to Nairobi Hospital last night, but he's only got badly bruised and again some muscle problems in the neck. But feel very disappointed. We were doing quite well. I think we were 6th place, and we were driving within ourselves, and things were going very, very well. And like all accidents, I mean, it just happened so quickly, and it happened, and that was the end of the rally.
The second leg started at sea level and headed northwest back to Nairobi, and it started with a super special. The first time ever that the Safari has run with the backdrop of the Indian Ocean. Carlos Sainz, although quickest here, gained almost 2 minutes in time penalties before reaching Nairobi, whilst Valdegaard managed to clean every road section on the way back to the night halt, the first time a crew had completed a leg of a Safari without time penalties. With Toyota maintaining its grip on the event, Lancia were running into problems. Kankkunen inherited third from Biasion, who drove 6 miles on a front puncture. And Recalde continued, as he had on the first day, with 2 punctures, stopping to change them both. As with Llewellyn, a road accident would remove Biasion from the event. He was overtaking a slow-moving truck going into a blind right-hander when a car appeared in the opposite direction. He hit the underside of the lorry, extensive damage to the roof and the roll bar. With the demise of Biasion, Ericsson's Toyota moved into 5th, and Ian Duncan in the Subaru Legacy became the nearest challenger to the Toyotas and Lancias, his only major incident being a collision with an antelope, errant wildlife, a hazard of the event. But day 2 saw the remarkable comeback of the Nissans. Blomqvist was back in the top 10, having rapidly caught slower cars over the opening sections. Kirkland too made progress, moving into 11th position. The conditions hot and humid, the weather and the road conditions the same for the drivers and the pursuing service crews who have to perform a sophisticated job in the most difficult circumstances. Unlike the previous day, the Nissan Motorsports Europe team had completed only routine service to the cars. One aspect of their high-tech backup is the telemetry system of transmitting data from each of the competition cars. Commonplace in Formula One and sports car championship racing, telemetry allows information such as transmission performance, shock loadings, engine, oil temperatures and pressures to be transmitted from the rally car using an aeroplane to reflect signals from the car to the receiving service vehicles on the ground, where skilled engineers analyse the data and plan for maintenance prior to the car arriving at service. Later, in the quiet of the factory, the data can be analysed for the benefit of the ordinary road user. With 2 legs completed, Valdegaard was now in sight of rally leader Carlos Sainz. Nissan's now 8th and 11th as the rally moves north. By time control 34, the leaderboard was to change. Valdegaard, having drawn level with Sainz, was struggling with air in the brakes. He overshot a tight corner, the car rolling gently onto its roof. Spectators were able to turn the car back onto its wheels with little time loss, but damage had been sustained and an extensive service would be necessary before the end of the third leg, with differential and clutch changes dropping him to 5th place, an hour adrift of Sainz. Blomqvist had climbed to 6th behind Valdegaard, and teammate Kirkland was delighted with his climb through the field to finish the leg in 7th.
Today's been really good fun. Traditional safari conditions. We had a lot of dust to start with, and then we went into rain, and then we nearly got stuck. Then we were back into dust again, and then we were back into rain again. My feeling about this particular rally is that tomorrow will be the deciding day. That's my feeling. Tomorrow is a lot of competitive mileage, non-stop, no service time, and the most difficult bit of the rally, in my opinion.
Fourth leg brought mixed fortunes for Stig Blomqvist and co-driver Benny Melander. In early morning fog, they moved ahead of Valdegaard, who with misaligned lights was suffering from visibility problems. The rapid pace of Blomqvist continued until a drive shaft failure cost him nearly an hour, the failure resulting in a seized hub. Blomqvist down to 7th, but it was Kirkland who benefited most from Stig's problems, finishing the day in 6th place, just 10 minutes, splitting the two. After 4 days, the tension was beginning to show. Service crews are being pushed to maintain the cars under very arduous conditions. Oil changes, mechanical checkovers, and routine service must not be overlooked. Blomqvist is naturally concerned. With 1,300 kilometers still to go, the rally was by no means over. Carlos Sainz still led, but he dropped 14 minutes in 2 sections to Kankkunen 6 when the Toyota's front suspension failed. A power loss later in the day meant it was definitely Kankkunen's leg. Ricciardi had lost 3rd to Ericsson when an impact badly deranged the steering. The safari was taking its toll. With the new turbocharger fitted, Sainz embarked on the long haul to Aberdare Country Club on Easter Day, with the engine now at full power. So it came as some surprise when a conrod punched a hole in the engine block 2 stages into the leg, putting him well and truly out of the event. Kankkunen, the new leader, could now ease off, with Ericsson some 18 minutes behind. For Toyota, the task of catching the Lancia would be hampered when flash floods and rising rivers caused a route change, which turned a 200-kilometre grind across the desert into an 80-kilometre cruise before the original route was rejoined. It was now possible to complete the new stage without penalty, and Kankkunen duly cleaned the leg. Ericsson, therefore, unable to reduce the gap. Ricciardi was taking it easy in 3rd, still unhappy with his steering, and Valdegaard now 1 hour behind Ricciardi, but with a comfortable cushion from the Nissans behind. Blomqvist had pressed Kirkland from the very start of the leg, catching his teammate on the slippery roads soon after the restart from Eldoret. Kirkland, showing great courtesy, pulled over for the faster car, but then got firmly wedged in the mud. The passing Carlos Sainz, who himself was being towed by a support vehicle, stopped, the world champion spending an hour trying to free the car. Such camaraderie between drivers, unique to rallying. With 5 legs completed, the rally moved on to its final day, the 300-kilometre final loop south and back to the finish in Nairobi. Although the remaining sections were amongst the roughest on the rally, Kankinen's 20-minute advantage over Ericsson was to prove unbeatable. Kankinen took his third Safari victory with the fastest ever time. But for Nissan, the satisfaction of a magnificent 5th and 7th. Having climbed back through the field after an unsteady start, the new Nissan Sunny GTIR had matched the Lancias and the Toyotas. From 57 starters, only 27 were to make the finish in Nairobi. For Nissan and Castrol, the knowledge that 4 years of research and development have produced a car capable of entering the World Rally Championship at the highest level. But for Kankinen, the satisfaction of taking Lancia's first World Championship victory for almost half a year. And Nissan, against such strong opposition, the team prize, with Blomqvist and Kirkland being supported by local driver Raju Limbani in a rear-wheel drive 200SX and 2 privately entered Pulsar GTIR cars from Japan, finishing 3rd and 4th in Group N. Fifth place for Blomqvist, and for Nissan, in the toughest of surroundings and with the toughest of opposition, definite potential has been shown for the World Championship Challenge to come.
Could have been so much better with a little bit of luck, but okay, first time out and everything, so you can't expect too much really, but I think the car has been going very well anyway. Okay, I think everybody was a bit nervous to start with, but okay, when the rally was going on, everything gets better and better. So okay, in the end now, a couple of days it's been good.
This is the first rally with a new car, with a new team, and I think we've done a lot of improvements in terms, we learned a lot of things during this rally, but in terms of the competitiveness of our cars, I think we are very confident that we'll be even more competitive in the future.